Here we go, UFC Fight Night. I'm being asked, a million ways, man. Text, DM, calls. Harry, who's the pro bet? What's the schmo bet? Is it Strickland, Fluffy Hernandez? Talk to us about the matchmaking here. You got Izzy Adesanya, Joe Pyfer in the mix, RDR. You have injuries sustained by Fluffy Hernandez in October. He tore his abdomen. Or like, what are we doing, Harry? What are we doing? And so I opened up our segment here with the bets. Like we did UFC 324, we gave you Justin Gaethje on the money line. Aside from others, we gave you 50% of the total account on Mauricio Rufy against Fiziev. Last week, we gave you half of your bankroll on Oleg Chaychuk and Kyoji Haraguchi. So what are we doing this week? All right, I'm going to, interject here, and I'm going to give you the bets as always. But I do want to break this down real briefly. And so I was taking Strickland initially because I wanted him to get a rematch with Adesanya. We do have Adesanya defeating Joe Pyfer. That's here in about 30 to 45 days. I want that belt back, man, for Adesanya. I get that lick back somehow, man, that Strickland took. But then I thought and I said, well, Adesanya was offered a short notice fight against RDR. And he couldn't do it because he was injured. This is when RDR was set up to fight Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez had torn his abdomen wall. So the UFC offered Izzy that fight. Izzy couldn't do it either. But these guys were injured. So now we have Izzy coming up here in about 30, 40 days. And he's taking on Joe Pyfer. It only leads me to believe that Izzy Adesanya could get that fight with RDR. Forget Strickland, man. The UFC's done with him. So we have Fluffy Hernandez on the spread at -9.5, -110 odds. You heard it here first. You know what? On second thought, forget RDR. We're going to do Chayo Moralo versus Israel Adesanya. RDR has this fight here in about 30, 40 days against Chayo Moralo. RDR versus Chayo Moralo. We're going to have Chayo Moralo defeat RDR, and then hopefully the matchmakers get him to face Izzy. Izzy, defeats him, and then hopefully we Izzy got through two prospects there, Joe Pyfer and Chayo Moralo, and maybe he could contend for a belt somehow. Who knows? At least in the interim, as everybody hashes that out with Duplessis and Imavov and the rest of the guys there. All right, man, Hamzat, and what a mess that top three is, huh? And you got Brendan Allen in the mix, so Izzy can stay busy. This whole thing about retirement, I think that's all just propaganda. All right, moving on to math teacher Ode Osbourne turned MMA pro fighter against Alibi Idiris. All right, Ode Osbourne's not an overall MMA polished, striker, ground game, no, grappler, no, absolutely not. Alibi Idiris, he is, but has fallen in love with his hands, and that might cost him here. Good thing for him, unlike most fighters that Ode has fought. Alibi actually does have good cardio, so that might be a problem for Ode. It's Alibi Idiris here on the money line or no one.